You're listening to Scheduling Sin with me, Snowmill. And so I then offered, I said, well, do you want to go see my tits?
I didn't know you could win a threesome. This occurred to me later,
God.
like 2 days later. I was sitting there thinking about it in the car, and I started laughing to myself. I'm like, I fucking won. Well, hello, Mrs. Snow.
Well, hello, Mr. Snow.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
It is a beautiful morning out.
It is a beautiful morning. We've had a good little love sesh the last couple days.
It's been a good couple weeks.
We've had some fun.
It's been a very good couple weeks.
We're really filling that quote unquote lifestyle bucket.
Yeah. The Discord server's been quite busy.
Yeah, we welcomed some new friends. We've learned quite a bit about our listeners. We had that interview with Gav, and that went really well.
That went really well.
And he invited some of his friends to join, and so we've gotten to see some fun pictures and here's
my gosh, yeah.
some fun things from that little crowd. So that's been fun.
Yeah. A lot of people have joined, actually, even the famous or infamous Tina Von Teese.
I know.
From the V2V community.
I know. Let me just say, Mr. Snow was so excited when he's like, we have a fan, and like, he's a big fan of hers. So I think it was just kind of like a little dream come true that now like it's come full circle, and now she's apparently a fan of the show, and I guess she binge listened all of the episodes.
It's so funny when we talk to people. When we first started this, we felt like we were just going to be talking into a vacuum, because honestly, who would be listening to us, right? And now occasionally we talk to folks who say they're listening to the show, or new folks that we're meeting, and they're saying we're binge listening to the show and getting caught up. And it's so funny. In the beginning, I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with it now, but in the beginning I was so self-conscious about that, because it felt so naked in a way, like, oh my gosh.
Self-conscious about what we were talking about? Or?
No, not so much what we were talking about, but just, I don't know, like you just meet somebody new for the first time and they're like, oh, I'm listening to all your podcasts. And it's like, oh, wow. Okay. You're going to go listen to all that. It's like, we haven't even gotten to know each other yet. And,
right.
You're kind of seeing our,
you don't even know like what I like to drink. And here you are knowing all the dirty things.
Yeah, I know. And so Tina even mentioned that, because we were talking a little bit. Tina Von Teese is from the Vanilla to Vixen world. She's in the UK and is friends with Mr. and Mrs. N. And that's how we got to know her, actually through their podcast.
Right.
And now a little bit in person. And it was so funny because I made some comment in Discord about like how she was really funny or something like that. And she goes, have we met? And I joked with her. I said, well, this is a podcast paradox, because and we've run into this a time or two now, where folks have listened to the show, and like in our case, I've listened to her, and I feel like I know her because of listening to the podcast, but we haven't really had a conversation.
Right. And
so it's kind of funny how that happens. You really, when you meet people, it's very unbalanced, at least to start.
Well, it's funny. So we have, so obviously if you haven't picked up on this, we're going to this hotel takeover in a couple weeks, because we're going hell or high water. But we have a couple that we were supposed to meet at the last hotel takeover. And they're on the Discord, and we've been having a lot of conversations with them. And it's kind of in this, at least we've been starting to have more mutual conversations, but I know initially they had listened to us, and then they're going to meet us. And so that'll be cool to kind of, it's like this fantasy world is becoming like almost real, there's
a little bit of worlds colliding here.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm going to have to pay a debt at this hotel takeover so we made a friendly wager on a college football game,
and he lost,
and I lost. It got right down to the wire. I was talking so much shit leading up to that. I thought for sure I was going to win that.
Yeah.
And I lost. And so now I have to let her draw the initials of that college on my butt.
Yep.
At the hotel takeover.
That's going to happen. And we'll take a picture. We'll post it.
Oh yeah. That's going to be all over the Discord. So just join for that, if nothing else.
Forget the Clone and Willy episode. If you want to see Mr. Snow's ass.
Yeah.
Join up.
Join right up. You'll get to see it in all of its failure glory.
Oh, stop. It's not failure. It's magnificent.
Well, it won't be so great with their logo on my butt.
Well, that's true. That'll be ugly, but everything else will be fine.
Whatever. So that's going to be fun. I'm really excited for that. It's fun to be getting to know people in the Discord and meeting some of them.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
And that's a whole new layer.
It is. And it's interesting. The whole podcast thing, the community that's kind of developing around it is so fun.
Yeah.
We're really getting a kick out of hearing from people on the Discord and some emails and things like that. Like that,
Yeah.
It really is. That really does make it a lot of fun.
It does. So we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of weeks that we've kind of wanted to bring to the podcast, because it's just a lot of different themes have kind of come up for us, and about, well, it's kind of a double-edged sword a little bit. So we talk about the level of intimacy and the level of almost intensity that, you know, the podcast and the lifestyle and the Discord have kind of brought. That it's been a lot of fun to do, but in some ways it can be a lot of work.
It can.
It requires a good amount of bandwidth, and it's been a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of really good conversations, and I've had some off one conversations with some interesting people that have been pretty fun and spicy, which I have enjoyed every minute of it. But sometimes I think that intensity and that level of intensity and being that quote unquote intense and sexual for that long of a period, I don't know how else to say it.
Well,
like,
I think it's
like the stamina of it, you know, and it's just like,
can you be in that really sexy headspace every day?
Right.
All the time. And I think that's something we're learning to balance.
Right.
We love the Discord community. It's getting to be really fun. And I like just checking in with everybody. I mean, sometimes it's fun to talk and be naughty and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And share pictures and stuff. But
Sure.
sometimes it's just fun to ask people how their day is going,
Right.
and talk to them as people. It doesn't have to be like all sex all the time, but that's the best thing about the community. You kind of share that.
Yeah. But I think it's, you know, we've been really kind of going hot and heavy in general.
Very.
And I think it's a combination of the podcast, the Discord, and we've had some meetups and some spicy conversations and like, it's just a lot. And again, a lot of fun, enjoying every minute of it, but also I don't want it to become that we're engaging, or that maybe this is just me talking, because maybe I don't want to speak for Mr. Snow, of course, but I don't want to be in this sex, you know, boob flash, dick pic, you know, like back, you know, all this back and forth over and over for like an extended period of time.
Well,
because then it becomes like something that like, it just gets to be too much. And then it's like overstimulation. Like if you were to be overstimulating your clit, like feels really fucking good at the time. Right. But if you do it over and over and over every day, it's not going to have the same effect.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a law of diminishing returns thing, right? I mean, if you eat enough ice cream, eventually you're not going to like ice cream anymore. So,
right. And I want to enjoy ice cream.
Right. So there's finding a balance to it. But we're figuring that out. You know, we're learning that the lifestyle it's very time consuming, because you have to have these conversations. You have to make yourself available to talk to people,
right,
and schedule things and one thing and another, because it is so hard to get people together. It's so hard to schedule stuff. So you really kind of have to be
scheduling.
Yeah. So you kind of have to be available, at least to sort of talk to almost kind of all the time. Yeah. But I know a few people that have stepped away from the lifestyle just because it's a little bit too time consuming for them.
And it's not that I want to step away like 100%, right? But I just want to kind of.
It can't take over your whole day.
Right. And it's a balance, right? Like we're going to continue the Discord. We're going to continue the podcast, of course, but we may not be so hot and heavy in dates. I don't know. But what we did do recently, and this worked out really well. Yeah.
We are on SLS, mm-hmm, and SLS has a function in there called Hot Dates.
Yeah.
And it's a opportunity for you to post like on a calendar, like we're going to be in this town at this time, and you can, you know, ask for what you're looking for or whatever. We decided, we reached out, we had some time. It was after a work function in an evening. We had childcare and we're like, hey, let's use this couple hours to have some fun. We reached out to a few people that were not available. No surprise, because it was relatively short notice. So we just decided to throw a hot date out there, but we did it a little bit different. We just threw it out as a meet and greet.
Right.
It's like, we're not looking for a play session.
No, and there was really no like expectations there.
No, not at all.
In fact, our friends Misty and Lee came out.
Yeah, they came out, and it was just a, hey, come out, join us at a bar. Let's all just meet some new faces and talk and have a good time. And that went really well. Even on relatively short notice, we got some feedback to that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I hadn't considered using it that way in the past, but I definitely want to do that again.
Yeah.
It was a great way to just get some people out, and you're not committed. That's the thing.
Right.
A lot of times with this is you talk with someone and you get to know them or whatever. And then you say, okay, we're going to have a meet with this person.
Right.
Well, you're kind of committed and not committed to play, because we don't believe in that. But it might be a horrible evening. You might not get along with this person at all, but you've gone through all this effort and you've scheduled this whole thing.
Right.
If you do it as a meet and greet, you get an opportunity to meet a bunch of people.
Right. So we had a couple that we obviously already knew, which I think it was nice that we had a couple that we already knew there just to kind of help continue the conversation.
It was nice having some friendly
faces. And then we
faces.
had two single males show up.
Yep.
And they were super nice. And one just kind of showed up. He wasn't there for very long, but long enough. And, we had some good conversations and good laughs. And we were actually talking about the Clone and Willie episode. It was the night before.
We hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, it was the night before we recorded that episode. So a lot of the conversation was that, just talking about that, which was super fun.
Well, and I want to point this out. Lee and Misty dressed up.
They did. She looked hot.
She looked really hot.
Well, yeah.
I was like, hello, nurse.
Nurse.
She looked phenomenal.
Oh, wow. I think Mr. Snow likes him some Misty.
She looked great.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
But yes, no, that was a great time. It was a great way.
It was just casual.
It was casual.
Super fun.
And it was no stress and it was no pressure.
And I think that other couple and one of the single males, we had to get going, but they, I think, went to another bar and had another drink. And so, I mean, and I think it's a good way. I would think it'd be a really good way for single males. Like if there were two couples that were just kind of hanging out, having some drinks, and you kind of came and joined the party and just got to know them. And
yeah. And I also really appreciated that both of the guys who came out, they had some experience in lifestyle.
Yeah.
And both of the guys that came out they came out with no expectations and they were very friendly.
Absolutely.
It was not at all awkward to have them there. And they added a lot to the conversation, and it was clear that they didn't just show up to try to get laid that night.
Yeah.
And that was very nice.
So yeah, that's there's your hot tip for the week. Like just being kind of setting this casual kind of expectation, I think is kind of fun.
So one of those single guys that we met there, we ended up talking to a little bit after that.
We did.
And we even arranged a little meeting with that person.
We did. I think it was, I don't know, like a couple weeks after. I don't know. I feel like all the days are kind of blurring. And we ended up going to grab some drinks. And yeah, so this has brought up a lot of conversations with Mr. Snow and I about, well, as our listeners know, I am a little bit of a megalomaniac.
I think you've begun saying that just about every single show.
Wow. Okay. So if you guys want to just call me out on that and just tell me every episode that I've called myself a megalomaniac. Listen, I am a self-aware person. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm self-aware.
Self-aware.
It's a plus.
Your alter ego is so much more of a quote unquote megalomaniac than your real personality.
Mr. Snow calls me a brat.
Very much so.
He says that I'm a brat. He says that I am a spoiled little brat.
You are.
And I say, well,
whose fault is that?
Whose fault is that?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So whatever. I whatever. I know me. It's fine. I am obviously a loud, much more outgoing, extroverted person. And we've had, experiences, and I've kind of learned about myself sexually. And it's funny because I feel like it's very much evolved.
Yeah.
But sexually, I tend to just want to be taken.
Yes.
Just kind of devoured.
Yes.
And there's a lot of...
You want to be actively pursued.
Right. And there tends to be a lot of energy there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this gentleman was a little bit more reserved.
Yes.
He just not that personality.
Just a little bit different personality.
Different personality. So
super nice guy.
Very nice guy, but that wasn't an issue, but just a different personality.
Right.
And so I kind of find myself in this weird, what do I want sexually? What, and I'm trying to kind of pace myself a little and be patient. Which I'm not patient.
What I will say is this. So this is a perfect example, I think, where single guys find themselves in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because he was doing his level best to be respectful.
Absolutely.
To be polite, to be not like overbearing. And it's very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
It's very much appreciated. But for you, it's kind of interesting because you kind of have this point where you're like, okay,
we're past that.
You've checked the nice box.
You checked the nice box.
You've checked the good guy box. Now I kind of want you to be
right
more like what we don't like off the bat. Right?
Show me your dick.
I mean, but it's true though. Like,
no, absolutely,
you kind of like, okay, now that like you're like in the inner circle.
You're
now,
respected. You're respectful. You get it. It's fine. Now let's
now like come after me like a horn dog.
Right. Is it that brazen?
Well, I think if you put it out there, like, honestly, that's kind of what it is, right? Because we want men to approach us respectfully, politely. We want to get to know you.
Absolutely.
But once we've done that,
right,
then we kind of want you to just chase after Mrs. Snow.
Well, and maybe there should be, we should invest in like a sign.
Yeah, we need some kind of a card system. Like green card, yellow card, red card. Like you start off on the red card.
Right.
We migrated to yellow, but once it's green card,
you just go.
You just go for it.
You just go for it. So now that's not to say that slow and sensual and isn't good. And I enjoyed it. I don't want to make it seem like I didn't have fun, but I think the other piece that I think played into this was our first experience with a single male was much more, I'm going to use the word carnal.
Well, it was once we got to the hotel, but it still kind of wasn't at the bar.
Well, I guess that's true.
You kind of led the way at the bar in that situation a little bit also.
Right. I guess that's true. But I guess it turned, so again, my point of reference was the experience that we had before. It was much, again, more carnal. It was just much more,
right.
Much more of that sexual energy.
Yeah. I think the thing that we need to think about on this one is like, how do you communicate to a person this idea? Because single guys are in a tough spot, right? Because I feel like they're always trying to, they're always under the gun to present themselves how they think you want them to be.
Right.
And it's a little, I'm going to say unfair in that we kind of want them to be different at different times. Well,
as you tell me when I'm being bratty, I want what I want when I want it, the way I want it.
You absolutely do.
And I just want that to be, right?
Yeah. So I think maybe that's a thing that we could do better as a couple.
Yeah.
Because, going back to the interview that we had with Gav.
Yeah.
And this was also brought up in a question on the Discord by Lee for that interview. Is as single guys, what would you want couples to know or to think about with you?
Right.
And I think it is a fair point to say that for couples, you need to cue your single men a little better to tell them what you want from them and not just expect them to read your mind and know.
Right. But I will say, I mean, and again, please don't misunderstand. We had a great time with this
we
individual.
did. No, this isn't complaining.
It's just funny because again, I want what I want. Right. But I will say the experience we had was great. And even though it wasn't 100% what I was expecting or what I necessarily would have done, maybe I wanted, I don't know. You enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, I did. I enjoyed it once we started playing, but I'll be honest, in the beginning, like when we were at the bar, I wasn't sure that anything was even going to happen.
Yeah.
I think he was so focused on, and part of it's his personality. We are loud, obnoxious people.
Right.
And he's just not loud, obnoxious people.
Right.
That's not his fault.
Right.
That's just who we all are.
Right.
And I think also he was trying to be respectful and polite and so on. And we did have a lot of fun in the conversation.
Absolutely.
I don't mean to make it sound like it was a snooze festival. It wasn't, but it wasn't particularly naughty. And so I wasn't really sure anything was even going to happen, which would have been fine.
Right.
And then,
but I think it's important for you to kind of know your personalities, your dynamic as a couple.
Right.
Like, you know, when Mr. Snow and I are out and we're kind of in that mood and we're having some drinks, like we tend to, we can get a little rowdy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have fun, we laugh, we joke, we do all these things. And that's just who we are.
Right.
And I could appreciate how for some people that may be intimidating or that may be a lot. And so I think sometimes the difference and the extremes of personalities,
sure,
I think gets much more defined and seen in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, what it all came down to was the restaurant bar that we were at. They came around and said they were going to be closing soon, which was very early.
Well, it was, I think, like a Monday night, to be fair.
It was, but it was still
because
only
scheduling sin doesn't happen on Saturdays.
No, it definitely doesn't. No, I mean, and it was only like 9:30 or something, but that's when Mrs. Snow.
Well, Mrs. Snow tends to get direct and ask
she
for
does.
what she wants.
She tends to get direct. And
which, again, that's just
she
me.
looks at him and smiles and says, "Do you want to go somewhere and see my tits?"
Yeah, because part of the conversation, I think we had mentioned the Discord and that people had seen my tits on the Discord maybe. And I think he made the statement, why I can't speak to that because I've never seen them. And so I then offered, I said, well, do you want to go see my tits? I thought cheeky.
It was very well done. You did that. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's the move. All right.
I got some moves.
And he laughed and he said, well, twist my arm here, would you?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we were off.
Right. So he hosted. And so we get to his place and we're sitting kind of in his living room area and he's got a couple couches, you know, and he and I are sitting next to each other and we're kind of talking generally about what we like. And I like to kiss and he likes to kiss. And so and again, this is kind of when like, I want you to jump on me. Right. But I clearly decided, well, this is going to happen. I'm going to have to jump on you. And so that's fine. And so we started kissing. And so I will say that, so this gentleman and I are sitting next to each other and Mr. Snow is sitting on the opposite couch. And it was incredibly hot to know that Mr. Snow is just watching. He's just sitting there, just kind of watching his wife be very sexual. And so I start, you know, we kind of kiss, we start making out. And then I had purposely worn some very black lacy panties.
They're a lot like the one in our podcast art, but they're black. And so everybody's immediately going to pick up their phone.
Probably. I mean, and that's fine. Maybe I'll post a picture of me in these little black panties. But so I stood up in front of this guy and well,
before you did that, you kind of just sort of rolled over and started kissing him.
I did. We started kissing.
And that was pretty hot.
Well, yeah, I think the hottest part, I will say, in getting to that part. So we're kissing, we're kind of making out, we're kind of rubbing all over each other. And then I finally stand up and I take my pants off and I take my shirt and bra off and I'm wearing just these little black panties. And I kind of get on top of him and I'm straddling him.
Yes.
And he is playing and sucking my tits and we're kissing and he's rubbing me. And Mr. Snow is just watching at this point. And I remember looking over at you and you just had this delicious smile on your face.
I mean, it is so hot to watch you be that way.
And I think the fact that I was wearing these little black panties and I'm straddling this guy and I'm just, my tits are out, and
what's really hot about it is it's, we are not into the cuckold thing. So like for me, the idea that I am somehow being like,
right.
Some people are into that. Like, I don't want to be like insulted. It's not like, you know, she's doing this and I'm not good enough or whatever. I'm not getting excited about that part of it. What I'm getting excited about it is I am so attracted to you in general, but in this context, you're so confident.
Yeah.
What is extraordinarily hot about you and about my attraction to you in that moment, I am just in awe of your confidence.
Well, and you know, we've talked about this and related to that. I have never been this confident in my life about anything. And this whole process, this whole lifestyle, this whole these experiences have just made me this, and that's why I feel like it's feeding that megalomania, right? But it's just making me so confident. Like and we've talked about this, like even like when you feel like you're super hot and sexy when you're 25, like I don't think I would ever have had the confidence to just get naked in front of a man that I did not know and just get on top of him.
Well, and that's the funny thing. So with, first of all, anyone, male, female, anybody, can be ridiculously sexy.
Absolutely.
Literally anyone.
Absolutely.
And what we don't necessarily realize, I think, is that confidence, if people dress in a way that fits them, and makes them feel good, they will look so good, and no matter what they're wearing.
Well, and it's funny, like, and the whole, trust me, I look at my body plenty and I see things about my body that I do not like or that I find to be very unattractive. You know, I look at my stomach, or I have a stretch mark here, or like I have scars, or I whatever it is, like, or I have cellulite or stretch marks or whatever it is, right? Like we all look at our bodies and think, ugh, who wants to see that? But I feel like I have just, there's been a switch, because now I post pictures on the Discord, and I post pictures where I feel like even 5 years ago, I would be like, ew,
mortified.
Oh God, that is terrible. Right. But now I just lean into it. And, and that's one thing I'll say about the Discord, and even this lifestyle, I think, because I do feel like the Discord is kind of an extension of the lifestyle in some degree, but people are so positive and people are so supportive, and people are they embrace everybody's bodies and,
well, you know what it is?
Thing. Like, it's just amazing.
They're embracing you as a person.
Yeah.
It's not so much about your body.
Right.
I mean, you have a beautiful body, but you are attractive as a person.
Yeah.
It's something innate. It's something about you as a person. Yes, you have phenomenal tits, and you have an amazing ass, and all of those things. But what I'm attracted, those are ornaments. I'm attracted to you.
Right.
And that confidence that comes out has more to do with you as a person,
right,
than it does individual parts about your body.
And so translating that into this experience where I'm like literally like straddling this guy.
Yes.
And I'm looking back, watching you.
Yes.
No, like watching you watch me is like the hottest thing, because like it's like it feeds each other. You know what I mean? Like, you love watching it, but I love watching you watch me and showing off for you.
Yes, you do.
I love looking back at you while I'm like riding a guy, or like just whatever it is I'm doing, and this man's hands are all over my body, and just looking at you watch me is just, it just gets me all juicy.
From the couch, we walked into the bedroom.
No, I'm pretty sure I got his dick out.
Oh, well, yeah, you did. That's true. You did suck him for a little bit on the couch.
Did. And I think it was at that point
I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I like to watch, but I'm not very good at it.
It's like the patience thing, right? Like I'll watch for a while, but I have to play. I have to participate. So I was sucking him and again, I'm topless, right? I just have those little black panties on and, I'm kind of on my knees and doing my thing. And that was when all of a sudden I feel Mr. Snow's hands reach down and rub all over my body. And I don't know. Listen, ladies, anybody, I guess, and gentlemen for that matter, but if you are between two people that you are playing with one and the other one is just rubbing all over you, like it's pretty hot.
Yes.
I mean, it's just electric all over, it was just so much fun.
I think sex a lot of the times with one person is kind of a focused thing, right? Like it almost kind of feels like you're either doing the work or receiving the pleasure.
Or you're the giver or the receiver.
Yeah. Right. But like, you're only like one at a time.
But here I am giving, but I am also receiving.
Oh, very much so.
Oh, and that was so hot.
And so after,
and I will say, I think he even enjoyed watching it. Right. So it's like, everybody's enjoying it, right? Everybody's giving something. Everybody's receiving something.
I think he was having a good time.
I think he really enjoyed watching, because there were plenty of periods of time where you were just, you were fucking me in whatever position that I was in. And he just, I think, enjoyed watching you and watching us.
I think so. There was a part right after that when we walked into the bedroom and what I always do, I always find a reason to hang out. Like
he always delays his entrance.
I do. I always let the two of you kind of go and I like to walk in on it.
Yeah.
And so when I walked in on this occasion, you were on the bed, like standing up on your knees.
Yeah.
On the edge of the bed, which is one of my absolute favorite positions of you.
And I'm pretty sure I did that on purpose.
And he was standing next to the bed kissing you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so good. And then from there, it was just a lot of
turn taking and
it was
rubbing
a lot of you being
kissing.
in the middle.
It was a lot of me being in the middle. I will say, it's not that I don't want you to have sex with another woman in front of me. I'm very open to that, but I'm not going to lie. It is so nice being the center of attention between two men. I can't help it.
Well, you're very good at it.
It's so much fun. And everybody has a good time, right?
Everybody has a good time. He did some pretty amazing things with his hands.
He did.
That was pretty exciting. I will say this. It's exciting to watch another person. Like, it's fun to watch another person touch you, play with you, enjoy you. It is something a little extra to watch another person really pleasure you.
Yes.
Like really like not just rubbing and touching and enjoy, but like really, really getting you off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I've shared this, but I'm a bit of a squirter.
A little bit. It's funny. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But definitely in lifestyle situations.
I think it's because it's just, again, it's that intensity. Like it is a different type of sex. Like you and I have amazing sex. We have great times. We get off. We enjoy each other. We laugh. We can be very carnal and all those things. But it is just another layer, another level of intensity and just sexual arousal when there are more than two people.
You know how I knew that was going on? When he looked at you and smiled and he said, "That's what washing machines are for." And when he said that, I'm like, oh, I know what's going on there.
Yeah. You know what? He hosted, which was very nice of him, but I feel like his poor bed.
I feel like, yeah,
we
need to go over there and do some laundry for him.
We probably should. We pay for some dry cleaning.
We had a phenomenal time. It was a really good time.
It was a lot of fun.
He was great. I just want to point out so that it is on the record that I won the threesome.
Oh my God. I didn't know it was a contest because I always feel like I win the free.
No, I won.
Yeah, he really did.
Came the most.
He did. It was like,
I didn't know you could win a threesome. This occurred to me later, like 2 days later. I was sitting there thinking about it in the car and I started laughing to myself. I'm like, I fucking won.
Yeah.
I fucking won the threesome.
Yeah. Well, we got to give Mr. Snow, throw him a bone every once in a while. I mean, we would be kissing, or I would be sucking him, or he would be rubbing me or sucking my tits. And I feel like I would change positions. And I feel like it was like whack-a-mole. Wherever my ass and pussy were, your dick was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I'm over here, he's fucking me over here. If I'm this way, and so I'm on my hands and knees, I'm on my back, I'm wherever I am. Like, you were like opportunity, ready to go. You were so excited.
I told him right in the middle, I am not trying to Bogart all the pussy. I told him that. I'm like, you just told me to get out of the way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to just like, I'm not just going to not do that for fun. Like you need to get in here.
So, there was a part, you know, and honestly, like I say this, like, you know, for anybody, you know, as bodies don't always cooperate, but we still, and I still think he enjoyed himself, because there was a period of time where I was on top of him and you were behind me with a toy, and so basically, like, I was like on top of him and he was rubbing me and kissing my tits and just enjoying himself, I'm sure. And basically, like, you were behind me with that toy. So I was kind of like almost coming while I was on top of him.
Yeah.
And he like was grabbing my thighs, and like he was just, and so again, like, we had so much fun, despite, well, again, like, kind of starting out this conversation, like, it did not go in my head the way I kind of thought it was, or I wanted it to per se, but it was still so much fun and very enjoyable and very pleasurable. And like, it was good.
Well, it was. And we did one of your favorite threesome things, which is the man sandwich.
A man sandwich is my favorite.
Where she's just laying there in the middle.
Laying there naked, spread eagle.
Back and forth between the guys, making out with one and then the other.
Yeah. And they're just rubbing all over my body, and I just move my head and I kiss one, and I move my head over here and I kiss the other.
It's like the closest thing you can get to like the whole like fanning you with a palm tree thing and feeding you grapes. Like that's how I picture it, you know?
Yeah.
But it is funny how you go through different things and they're all different. Like the very first threesome we ever had was, I mean, aggressive is maybe not the word.
Not the right word.
Like it was very, carnal's probably a really good word.
It really is.
Like,
I mean, it was just much more like pounding. We're getting it done, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For like almost 2 hours.
Which that was.
Yeah. That was a good one. And this was different. It was still very good, but it was just different.
It was just different. So,
and I think that's one of the cool things about the lifestyle is you can have so many different experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, and it's funny, you know, you talk about for your partner and doing things for your partner and showing off. And I feel like, you know, like, whereas the first experience we had was very much more about me and all of those things. Right. And this one was not about me, but I think you got so much more of that visual and just, I don't know, like, it seemed to be more intense for you.
I was more engaged in this one than I have been in a couple of the others that we did.
Yeah.
And I think, so it's funny. If I think about it, I think I'm like in the very beginning, I was kind of like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening.
Well, right.
Like, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Sure.
I mean, I was having a great time. I was very excited, but I was like, I was just so, it was so much going on that like, I didn't really participate that much. I took a lot of phenomenal video, but,
well, that's true.
Which comes up often, but this one, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable and more used to us playing with other people.
Right.
And so because I kind of had that part, like I was more used to that, it was more comfortable to get involved and to play with myself and to like be more engaged as opposed to watching.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so I really appreciated, it was, I mean, it's nice to have different experiences, and just like everybody's different. Everybody likes different things. Right. And everyone has different styles and all that. So it's a good lesson in It doesn't always have to be like Pound Town. Even though I like Pound Town, I'm a fan. Like,
it doesn't always have to be Pound Town.
You can't live in Pound Town. You can only visit on the weekends.
Oh God, that's your advice for the show. It doesn't always have to be Pound Town.
Whatever. Listen, you talk about it on the Discord and you email us. Who likes to go to Pound Town, right?
Who likes to go to Pound Town? Population, Mrs. Snow.
Whatever. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So, and we would meet up with him again.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely
for sure.
would.
I mean, that would be fun.
And I think honestly, just like you kind of learn each other, right? I mean, just like in any sexual relationship, I mean, the first time you do it is not always going to be
well, and it's more likely to be better the second time.
Absolutely, because now you kind of have a sense of what people like and kind of how people do things. And
right.
I probably wouldn't be so like, I don't know. Maybe he likes the fact that I'm really direct or a little bit more assertive. I don't know.
It would be interesting to know that's one thing with this that we've encountered over and over and over again, where we do a podcast, right? So we like to talk about this stuff and we like to analyze it and think about it and whatnot. We're always missing the other side.
Yeah.
It would always be like, what did he think about it? What did he tell people about it? What did he, would he do it again? He would. I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of, I'm always like craving feedback because I'm always interested in knowing what people think, but
we should send out like little comment cards.
We should. There should be like
those surveys,
yeah.
Those random generated surveys you get after you go to the doctor.
Right. Exactly. Like 20 minutes after we leave, you're going to get a survey.
A survey monkey.
Like,
can you please rate us on Amazon?
On Amazon. Yeah.
Are we 5 stars? What are we?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. That can go both ways.
That's true. 1 star would not do it again.
Speaking of that, though, and I do want to point this out. If you're listening to the podcast and you're enjoying it, please do leave us a review and a rating on Apple or Spotify.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful. And we like to hear those, and it's fun to see them pop on there. So if you can take a minute to leave a review, especially in Apple, that would be really helpful.
Yeah. There's your little plug.
There's my plug. I decided to just kind of segue that in there, but
okay. It's not planned, guys, just so you know.
No, there's no plan for this at all. No. So that was a really good time. We have the takeover on the 20th to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I am excited. So there's this couple we've been talking to on the Discord. Very nice. I've had individual conversations with him. You've had individual conversations with her. And we've had conversations, the 4 of us. And so I think we're really looking forward. And, the nice thing about it is, I anticipate we'll probably engage in some things. But even if we didn't, it's nice to just know somebody. I think when you go to a hotel takeover, there's a lot of people.
Just to have friends there.
Yeah, just to have people that you can kind of hang out with and share stories with. And, even if you don't necessarily play together, like kind of have someone that you can go over scrambled eggs the next morning, talk about the crazy night you had.
I think we are even going to twist their arm into recording with us.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
So because they have a room at the hotel takeover.
Oh, they have a room there. That's
at the
right.
Host Hotel.
That's right.
We did not, because that place sells out.
I know.
So far in advance. So we have a hotel room at I think it's like next door or something like that, but they're there. And I think we might even set it up and try to record like during the hotel takeover.
Yeah. That might be interesting.
I think that could be really interesting. Like if you only hear one of us, it's a good sign.
If you only hear slurping noises.
Yeah. Well, folks, it's just Mr. Snow. Mrs. Snow's here, but she is occupied.
Occupado. Yeah. Well, there are worse things.
There are worse things. So
that'll be fun. I think we're going to try to record maybe when we get there, like maybe before we like head over, maybe we'll just have some conversations about things and then we'll follow up.
Well, that's it. I think I want to break that one up and do it. And like, it'd be kind of fun to do like a before, during, and after episode for that one.
Yeah.
So that might be kind of fun. We'll see how that goes.
But either way, I think Mr. Snow is, I've already given permission. We talked about this. I've already given permission for this lady to spank Mr. Snow, grab his ass and other parts.
Yeah. And other parts. We've even kicked around the idea of doing a party.
Oh, yeah, we have done that. We did talk about that. That would be a local thing, though.
A local thing that we might do.
We want to do our own hotel takeover, but it's really going to just be a room.
Yeah. Well, it might be a couple rooms, and we're considering calling it the Snowball.
Ooh, the Snowball.
I think that's a perfect name for it.
Oh, that's fun.
So more to come on that. But in the meantime, join the Discord.
Yeah.
Leave us a review. We want to hear your emails.
And that's snowmilf@yahoo.com.
SNO, there's no W, SNOMILF@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
There's a link to the Discord in the show notes.
Yeah.
So you have no excuses. The link works now. There was one time where it didn't, but it works now. Everybody seems to be getting in fine.
Oh, that reminds me. Do you remember, what did that bumper sticker say that we saw the other day?
MILFing ain't easy.
MILFing ain't easy. There you go.
There you go. That's what we leave you with on this one.
That's what you leave you with. Go to Pound Town. Super fun.
Population Mrs. Snow.
And MILFing ain't easy.
MILFing ain't easy. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye. We want to hear from you. Email us at snowmilf@yahoo.com. That's SNOMILF@yahoo.com. You can also join us on our Discord and have some fun interactive conversations with us. The link is in the show notes. Talk to you soon.